Hello, Matt, my man. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are
I'm
you?
doing quite fine, my man, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Matt, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things, and I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Matt, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invest in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You say some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Matt, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, my man, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, Matt. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day. I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Matt that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to say enough to you. And getting to read a little bit about you, my man, your insights, your philosophies, the impact your work is having. This stuff's so beautiful. You say beautiful stuff. So I've got to say thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for being here. Truly appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
Good things about yourself, but thank you.
Beautiful, my man. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for two reasons, Matt. Two. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Matt, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, my man, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the amazing listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the incredible Matt on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, my man, we live in a world where knowledge is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, my man, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Matt, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Matt got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Matt, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm at the moment I run a technical agency based out of the U.S. We service larger media, digital news type websites as well as manufacturing type clients as well in health and wellness. So we build websites. Is one way of putting it. It's kind of a career that I fell into when I started my bachelor's degree. It's one that has continued for almost 28 years though. So I've kind of been around on the internet side, not since it began, but maybe 5 years after people started building things on the website. I have a family. My wife and I live in Colorado. We have two boys. One's out of the house technically, but at school, so he's here now. The other one's a senior in high school. That's what I do on any given day is not mainly family, but the work side as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that's a great one you're doing, I tell you. Okay, so let's get started. All right. Hmm. What makes it hard for media companies to grow online? Got it?
Yeah, I think over the years it's been very hard. Most of them have shrunk in their kind of audience and kind of reach, for sure, because there's newer kind of newer ways of getting at audiences that they didn't really focus on as far as, they put out content, and people hope that brand means everything. Where people today are more about who they're being recommended to by people they know, people they barely know, influencers and things like that. Not that that's a bad way of finding new things at all. It's that brands and large companies, large media companies, never really kind of followed along that. So the smaller brands built up very quickly and eroded at their audiences. So it's becoming very hard for the big, what used to be well known media companies to continue to grow when those smaller ones are eroding those audiences all the time. I think the audiences are growing and the time allotted to pulling in content is growing, but they stayed stagnant for a little too long.
I got that. So, for the sake of publishers that are listening to us, how can publishers grow traffic and revenue at the same time?
I think it's one of our we focus on three pillars. One of them is the audience, and defining what your audience is and why they want to engage in your content is very important. I think a lot of media brand companies assume that while other people are putting out content maybe more negative, more polarizing, that they should do the same thing because it gets eyeballs. Those eyeballs are really short kind of duration and short lived. If they continue to engage in the audience that they've already built up and cultivated, would be a good word, that will continue to grow somewhat organically, but it'll be a consistent growth and not spiky and kind of all over the place with all the dips. That eventually is kind of a slope down to nothing, and they're competing with other people that they don't want to be competing with.
Okay, I got that. Okay, so let's talk about ad tech. What are some common mistakes people make with ad tech?
I think the biggest mistake is not. So they try new things and they continue to leave it on the site versus trying new things, evaluating it, and moving on. A lot of ad tech companies allow you to kind of try their product for not always free, but at a discounted rate or a discounted kind of discussion of like percentage going back and forth. And they seem to leave it there. So if you go to these websites, I don't know if you've been to some of the websites where you'll see a pop-up ad and then another ad, and like there's more ads than content, right? And you don't ever get to see what the actual content is because there's so many ads, and that's because they just keep adding, and they don't really like remove things and exclude things that weren't working. Because there's plenty of ad tech that really works well, and it's not always the newest. Sometimes it's things that you should leave, but it's now competing with the newest thing that's now affecting the new revenue source.
So how can those ad techs be fixed?
A lot of it is, well, you could just start over. Some companies do that. They'll rip out everything and then start adding slowly. I think a better approach is just evaluating what you have, like getting an inventory. Some people will call it an audit of what's available on your website, what third-party things you're serving, and then going through that list and removing the things that we know are not working. A lot of times we work with people that like come in and they're like, well, we didn't even know that was like 5 years ago. Why is it still on the website? It's like, well, that's why we're here. You should have removed this 4 years ago when the contract ended, and they're still getting revenue from it, and you're not getting anything.
Wow.
Or your website as an end user, and look at like their audience, kind of what they have to see and get through to see an article.
Boy, you see, listening to you speak, I am convinced that you're just so good at what you're doing. I tell you. And with all of the experiences, it's really obvious that you're so good. So I'm curious about something. How has the journey been so far? What are some others or challenges that you faced along the way, and how did you overcome those tough moments?
Yeah, I mean, I come across pretty confident sometimes. I mean, I am a consultant by trade. I have to exude some confidence, but yeah, not knowing earlier in my career, even recently, I don't know everything, and having to know like I'm going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes as a team. Is very likely and likely going to happen. I think some of the challenges are a lot of times people type challenges, and not that people are a problem. It's that I am a problem just like everyone else is a problem, where we're going to cause conflict, create conflict because of just how we're made and wired, some people would say. And that's going to be a thing that you have to know that's going to occur, whether it's projects, whether it's just deadlines, and like not everyone's going to understand the description of what you've asked them to do. That just knowing that that's going to happen has helped me, because when it comes up, like, well, I've seen this before. Not that I know the solution because we've done it before, but at least I know that that person's not like out to get me or something like that. It's just that they're dealing with something else.
And that's a smart way to live, I tell you. That's a smart way to live. I love that. So while you were talking earlier, you mentioned content. So I wanted to ask, how should companies bridge the gap between tech teams and content creators?
Yeah, that's an important one. I think as a company, to bridge the gap, you have to have an organization that can kind of look at both sides and help them develop. Not like they have to get along, but there's needs on both sides. So the creators, the editors on a site have very specific needs about their platform that require the developer or the technology side to help solve the problem. But when they don't communicate back and forth, you hear from the editors, the creators that, oh, it's super slow. Well, that's all the tech people hear, and that's all they're ever going to hear. Not that when I do this, it's super slow, right? Like if you know the this, and you can come up with the solution versus hearing that it's slow and they just need it faster. Well, it's the one thing that they're doing 100 times a day. The technical person might think it's logging in, for instance, and that's slow. It's like, no, it's when I click save and I add a new category. Improving the communication and helping them understand both the needs. Unfortunately, most people don't care about, we're a technical agency. They don't care about the technical people that much on the creative side. And that's fine, because our needs aren't really, pushed up into the organization of how it grows for the most part, other than we need to know that we're actually solving problems. That's the biggest thing. The needs on the outside of getting a paycheck and being able to be part of a team is all important too. But if we know that we're actually helping, that's a good communication, like that we're being helped to know that we're improving things.
That's so true, my man. You're very correct. So we have two more. Okay, we have two more to go. Let's talk about digital media companies. So what should digital media companies focus on for the future?
That's a good question. We're in an age right now that everyone thinks that AI is going to take over all of our jobs potentially, but all of kind of our needs also. And I think understanding that if there's digital media companies aren't going to create new things, that AI will just have to go in circles around what's already been created. And understanding that there will be continuing a need for the creation side of the digital media space. How that's going to happen, I don't really know, because it's going to be augmented or helped with AI tools. The better companies will understand that they can use those tools, but with people as well. And the companies that will eventually fail are the ones that are going to utilize AI completely and create content with AI only. And it'll be basically for AI's sake that they're creating the tools. I can get onto a big tangent on the AI stuff around, but I think them knowing that, yes, there's a disruption. There used to be a book, I remember, Who Moved My Cheese, like things like that. The idea that things have changed and we need to change with it, but not because of the change, is important to know. And we're not going to be like completely wiped out as far as content creation. It just has to change very quickly.
Things have changed and we need to change with it. Like we need to adapt to change. I got that. Okay, so let's talk about this one for the sake of publishers. So what is one thing publishers can do today to make their platform better tomorrow?
Oh, I think the biggest thing is evaluating what your platform is being used for today. So if you've been on a platform for X years and it's been doing the things that we were doing 3 years ago, just creating SEO content for us, like for search engines to crawl it, versus solving people's problems, because I think that's where the AI kind of mix comes in, where AI is trying to help being a tool that people are asking questions because they have problems, and it's searching for content that's going to solve a problem. If your publishing system isn't helping your content creators define problems and solve the problems, they're going to be left out, and you're just going to be another site with content that no one's going to find.
Hmm. Beautiful. And I'll take that as a final thought. So for folks who would like to reach out to you, Matt, or even ask you questions or open your services or programs, how can that be possible?
Yeah, the best way is to go. We're online. We have a website that defines all of our services, NDEVR.io. It's NDEVR.io. NDEVR. So it's spelled a little bit different than Endeavor, the word Endeavor, but we provide all of our service through the one website. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer questions directly. Reach out, connect, open to connections as well. We also have a podcast as well, but that's for light.
Really?
We call it boozy. So it involves some drinking if you're into watching people drink and complain about things.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. So that's going to be the end of the show, Matt. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot, my man. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
That was a beautiful one, Matt. Thank you so very much.